Right guys, we are always talking to you about carrying spares. Free ride number 2, second tow in what?
2 days.
The part is here.
Good morning guys and welcome to last night's park up, and honestly it was absolutely epic. We finally left Javier yesterday. I know, stuck for a while, but we finally made it back on the road, and honestly the freedom, we are just so grateful to be back out here. But check out these views. So last night's home is high up over Benidorm. Honestly, the views were absolutely insane. And knowing that all that hustle, bustle, chaos, everything was going on right down there, right underneath us. But we were up here and it was just the most incredible, peaceful night. It was absolutely spectacular. We've woken up to another incredible day. Honestly, the weather is giving us an absolute treat. We are fast approaching the end of October and we are still kicking it in shorts and t-shirts. It's going to be about 23 degrees or something today. Honestly, it's just fabulous. It is absolutely beautiful. So as I say, Benidorm is all the way down there. Behind us over there is Calpe. Down there just behind me is Terra Mythica. Now Terra Mythica is Benidorm's theme park. Because we're into low season, it's only open at the weekends at the moment. Just something to bear in mind if you do come here. I think it opened in early 2000. It's been a long time since I've been there, but I can say when I was there, it was absolutely incredible. So if you love theme parks, it's absolutely worth a visit. But after being stuck in Javier for nearly 3 weeks, we definitely wanted a change of scenery. So we looked to come high up, not quite into the mountains, but definitely surrounded by mountains. We can still see the Mediterranean Sea from here. It is just the most beautiful park up. And the best part, we were on our own. So how do you get up here? Well, what we will say is it is a pretty gnarly 4x4 track. Your van definitely needs to have certain off-road capabilities in order to try and get up here. It's pretty steep, it's very rocky, there's a lot of loose rock as well. And also just be mindful of the weather, because if it has been raining, if it is raining, if the ground is wet, you are going to get in real trouble. Thankfully, as we say, because the weather has been amazing, the ground is very dry, the conditions are perfect. But again, just something to bear in mind if you do think about coming up here. The only other people that we saw last night were either walkers, because it is an epic hiking trail. So if you want to get those walking boots on and go for a walk, we cannot recommend this place enough. We had a stunning walk with Lucky this morning. We walked high up onto the top of the hill, and the views over the Costa Blanca left and right were just incredible. But for now, guys, we're about to pack up, hit the road. We are heading off to our next destination, which is a place called Tabernas. We are both super excited about this place, but we'll tell you more about that in a bit. Right then, Steve, what are we having for breakfast?
We're having avocados on toast because they're so cheap over here to buy. That's what we're having.
So, when we left Javier yesterday, the plan was to head to a place called Guadalest. We'd been stuck at the beach or around the beach area for a good few weeks and we wanted a complete change. Don't get us wrong, we love the beach, but we're in desperate need of some mountains and some mountain air. So the plan was to head to the Castel de Guadalest. Guadalest is a very small town. It's only got about 180 inhabitants, and it's just over an hour from Javier. You sort of go via Benidorm, travel right up into the mountains. I found us an incredible air in Guadalest. It was €6 a night. Everything was sounding absolutely fantastic, exactly what we needed. So that's what the plan was. We set off, had an amazing journey. It was so beautiful to finally be back in the mountains again. Started to get towards Guadalest, and it's been a long time since we've seen that many people in such a small place. It was complete chaos, and unfortunately I had done the thing that in the last video, hopefully you saw it, if not we'll drop a link, that I said that I never do, which is I didn't have a backup. I had read the reviews on Park 4 Night for the air. They said that it was really, really quiet, so I just didn't think that there was any need to plan anything else. I really, really didn't. It was so unexpected, and to be honest, completely threw us for a loop. My head just went into a tailspin. So we turned up, people everywhere. The car park that we wanted to go to, where the air was, we didn't realise it was full and been shut off. So we go to drive down. The guy comes out, whistles, is waving madly. It's full, apparently, so we can't park there, but we need to, because we've started going down the hill, we then needed to go all the way down to turn around and come back up. That was easier said than done. First of all, he fibbed. It wasn't full at all, but what it was very small. And it had a one-way system. We're quite stressed. We're driving the wrong way around this one-way system. And all we wanted to do was drive back up the hill and just escape, to be honest. Anyway, so we make our way up the hill, drive out. We're soon out of Guadalest, away from the chaos of the people, find somewhere to pull over and try and find a different option of somewhere else to go. So we knew from having looked at Google Maps previously that there was a huge and pretty spectacular reservoir that was sort of down the bottom of the hill, and started on down towards it. So the parking was full. We weren't too sure what to do, but we made the decision to carry on driving, and carry on driving meant that we drove across the dam over the reservoir. We didn't think that was going to be too much of an issue, but it turned out a little bit differently, didn't it?
So like Liz says, guys, we did cross the dam and we drove onto the roads at the other side. Well, the single track roads and the single track roads. This was a single track road. Cars coming both directions. It was being blown out by a storm, and I don't mean like the road had subsided, I mean the bankside was on the road. So you have to weave around the bankside. There was blind corners that you just weren't seeing, and there was cars coming down. Obviously people who were well used to the roads were coming down at like quite some speed, so it was a bit hairy, and we managed to get to an open spot where we pulled in, made ourselves a cup of coffee, gathered ourselves a bit, and then decided to turn around and head back. You all have vans. I mean, you're bound to know what it's like when people don't give away, but this was like the road from hell.
So as you can probably tell, guys, to be honest, I was quite disappointed that the little adventure that I had planned for us hadn't worked out quite how either of us had hoped, but definitely how I had hoped, because I knew that Stevie had been going through a lot. He'd worked so hard with all of the repairs, etc. It's been a lot on both of us, having been sort of stuck, so to speak, in the same place for a good few weeks. But as we do, we kind of gathered ourselves up. Stevie found an incredible park up off of a 4x4 track, which we thought, do you know what? We want to go check that out, which is how we ended up high over Benidorm last night. And to be honest, looking back, it was probably a blessing in disguise, wasn't it?
It definitely was. It definitely was. I mean, getting up there, it was fun. I mean, I love driving like that anyway. I love doing a bit off-road driving. So driving up there was good. Pushing it to its close limit was really, really good. And the views were just spectacular. Looking down on Benidorm was exactly what we needed after being stuck in a town for best part of 4 weeks.
Whilst the original plan didn't quite happen how I wanted it to, it actually probably turned out a little bit better than I'd ever intended. So just because things don't happen the way you want them to doesn't mean that you can't end up with an amazing adventure.
Right guys, the great thing we found about Park 4 Night is there's a little yellow symbol, which means it's a 4x4 track. When you take these tracks, you've got to be quite aware that some of them aren't 4x4 tracks. They're just quite rough, rutted out tracks. I mean, it helps that we've got a van that's built for the job, we'll say. Motorhomes you probably won't get along a lot of these tracks. This one, I would have thought you'll definitely get into this one. Quite an easy track. There's a couple of ruts on the way in, but that's about it. So if you do like a good drive, these definitely help with the experience of off-grid living. You do get to see a hell of a lot more secluded spots, would be the best way to put it, simply because a lot of people can't get along these tracks, and they're definitely worth checking out. Obviously, if you've got a map, that would help. Check on Google Maps, that would help. If you've got anything that can work out elevation, an OS map would help loads with that, and then you can work out how much elevation you're going to gain or how rough the track is. We haven't got that, but you can normally tell because Park for Night is quite a topographical map, so it does have elevations, and you can work out how good the elevation is to how high you're going to drive. But I would definitely say this is definitely worth a look along. Park for Night, the little yellow dots is the secret. But like I say, it's up for your own interpretation. Have a look on Google Maps, decide well ahead of you coming into this whether you're going to tackle it or not, because a lot of them are single track and there isn't anywhere to turn around. If you've seen this park up, then you'll definitely know this was worth a look.
And just on the subject of Park for Night, guys, we've seen recently in the news, on social media, and even some YouTube videos, a lot of talk around the Park for Night app. And to be honest, a lot of it has been quite negative. First of all, living full-time in our van, apps or an app isn't the only thing that we rely on. We have places up here that we know, we use Google Maps, we use our sense of direction, and we just explore. But we do pay for Park for Night. Now, you can get a free version. The paid for version is just under £10 a year. So to be honest, it is well worth paying for. But just talking about the negative chat surrounding Park for Night at the moment, admittedly in the UK, it has its issues. A lot of the spaces are either gone, the reviews aren't great, there's been problems. There's a wide variety of reasons why you might end up moving on from somewhere that you've chosen. However, what we want to say is that since we've been abroad, Park for Night has absolutely come into its own. Apps aren't for everyone. Lots of people don't want to use them, they don't want to pay for them, that's absolutely fine. But there are just so many more options abroad. And as Stevie was saying, there are lots more of these 4x4 tracks, and he's absolutely right. It's a little yellow icon. It is a 4x4 vehicle. We get to experience these park-ups because our vehicle can get down these tracks. And honestly, we end up in places like this. And that behind us is an abandoned farmhouse. Honestly, what a place to be able to sleep. It's been just incredible. Two main points to this really, guys, are firstly, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to use Park for Night abroad. It's not like the UK. The park-ups, firstly, there are so many more of them. There really, really are. You will not be short of places to find. Don't be scared if your van is equipped and you are a skilled driver. That is the other thing. You've got to be a skilled driver in some of these places. Don't be afraid if you see a yellow symbol, it's a 4x4 track. Look into it, check it out, because you just don't know where it could lead. And we've had a couple of great experiences this time around. We had one in the Czech Republic, which honestly sent us down to our own private lake. It was incredible. YouTube loves a good drama. Here's a drama for you. We've broken down again at the side of the road in Spain, and we're now awaiting another recovery tow. Sense my tone, how happy and thrilled I am. Right, so I've spoken to our European breakdown insurance people. They are sending out a tow. It should be about an hour, which to be fair is a lot quicker than the time that you get given in the UK, so that is something. Even the birds are laughing at us. The clutch pedal will not come back up from the floor, so we can't get it into gear. We thought it was the brake fluid, so we topped the brake fluid up, we set off, we were driving, it seemed to be okay, and then as we were driving, the clutch pedal dropped to the floor. Sorry, I'm holding my phone just in case the recovery people call. The clutch pedal dropped to the floor and wouldn't return up again. Thankfully, we're now in a little bit of a better place in terms of being found. We are now 19 days away from being at the end of our Schengen time. And to be honest, none of this is great, but the Schengen time slowly slipping away, I'll be honest with you, is the biggest stressor. So we came from somewhere right down in there, and now we're here. But the good news, look, at least it's the main road. Right, hopefully you can hear me, guys. So the recovery guys turned up. Steve is just getting the van onto the tow. Just trying to think what I've done. I found us a really good sounding garage in the local town of Tabernas, which is about half hour away. So we've asked to be taken there. The communication is a little bit difficult, but we're getting there. The guy seems really friendly, and then we'll keep you updated and take it from there. Free ride number 2, second tow in what?
2 days.
2 days. We're now off to a car park in Almeria to await a part in a shop that will open on Monday, because today is the National Bank holiday.
Again.
But one thing checked off the list. Fingers crossed.
Right guys, now you join us from that actual park. We are in Almeria, which has a great infrastructure for parts. Did call in a few favours. We have managed to get a part sorted. We know where it's at, and we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Yep.
So, a little bit of the story of Tabernas, and I'll hand you over to my gorgeous wife for that.
Honestly, so firstly, what I will say is that we didn't film anything after being towed to Tabernas, and that was simply because things continued to get ever more stressful and, to be honest, ever more dark, really. It was just the worst case scenario. So what I last said to you was that I'd found an amazing garage in Tabernas, and that's where the recovery truck took us. That was fine up until we got there. Not only was the place closed, and bearing in mind this was late Friday afternoon, it was also Halloween, and what we didn't know was that the following day was another public holiday in Spain. But as the guy was filling out the paperwork ready for us to sign, I'd noticed a sign on the actual garage door, and I translated it, and what it said was that basically their reception was closed and wasn't accepting any more new vehicle repairs or inquiries until they'd cleared their backlog. I showed this to him, and to be honest, he completely brushed me off and was like, no problemo, no problemo. To be honest, I knew that it was going to be a problem, but by that point he'd sort of washed his hands of us. He just wanted to get rid, didn't he?
It was a problemo.
Yeah, it was un grande problemo.
So then what we did, guys, we found another garage that was open, so we went round to that garage to see if he could fit us in. He was quite accommodating, but it was a case of, if I can fit you in, I'll get you in. Again, the communication was quite hard. We're having to do it through Google Translate, because while Liz can speak a little bit of Spanish, no disrespect to Liz, it's your tourist Spanish, you're ordering stuff, you know, you're asking for things.
It's not conversational in any way at all.
What happened was, we did speak to the guy, and we managed to have a little bit of conversation. He was quite accommodating, but it was a case, you'll have to come back round on Monday. We cannot wait around that long, because as you'll know if you're following, our Schengen timer is slowly ticking away.
So after speaking to that second garage, to be honest, that's when the panic really started to rise for us, didn't it?
Yeah.
And from there, what we decided to do was try and find a part. Now, Tabernas, it's a lovely little town, but it is in the middle of the only desert in Europe, and that means it's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. We were trying to look at ways to get to Almeria, because Almeria is the closest biggest town, and that is where everything was going to be, everything that we needed, etc. Mm-hmm. You were even starting to look at riding into Almeria and back again,
which was, that itself is like a feat of its own, especially when we drove down. It was like, shit, I can't believe I was actually considering driving down.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will know, in any stressful situation, trying to then think clearly, as well as dealing in a language that isn't your first language, everything is just getting more and more problematic. We ended up calling in some favours, and managed to find a lovely English guy who spoke Spanish. He lives in Spain, so spoke Spanish. We'd found the place where we needed to get the part from. He called and spoke to them, checked that they had it in, which they did, and he was then WhatsApping with me, and that's how we've managed to find the part.
So now down to the second tour. So we did try to arrange a second tour the same night. That unfortunately just turned into a stressful situation in itself. We phoned them on, it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. By this point, we managed to get in touch with them. They said it would be, they'd arrange that as soon as they could. They tried to sort that out. It was meant to be here about 5 o'clock in the evening. That never really turned up. So we phoned again. It got to about 6:30, 7 o'clock, phoned again. They said it would be half an hour, 20 minutes. That never really turned up or transpired any phone calls from that. It got to about 8 o'clock in the evening. Liz phoned again. They said it was on its way. By this point, it's getting on for about 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the evening, and we still haven't heard anything. And then they decided to tell us that the recovery had cancelled and they wouldn't be coming till the morning. So that just blew everything out the window, and stress levels were like, by this point, were an all-time high. And by this point, we both started to feel a little bit messed around and a little bit trapped. Because like Liz said, this place was so small. Think Wild West.
So not only were we feeling trapped, but where the first recovery truck had left us was outside of the garage's working space, which when we first arrived didn't seem like it was going to be a problem, because we thought that's fine, we'll be able to get into the garage. None of this would have been quite so much of an issue if our Schengen time wasn't fast running out. Now, we would have been fine. We were absolutely fine for our Schengen time. We are not far from getting down to Algeciras. There was plenty of time for us to get down there to head over to Morocco, but obviously that was without any of these issues coming into play. And I just cannot tell you the level of stress that we were feeling. It was just so unexpected. We just were struggling to deal with everything, to be honest. So then I spoke to the recovery people. I was still speaking to them around about 11 o'clock at night, and to be honest, they were very apologetic, and they confirmed that our tow had been scheduled for the following morning, which was Saturday. And I asked about a time, and the guy said it was going to be around about 9:30. So where we are now is the car park that I'd found. Park for Night came in handy yet again. Honestly, it's an absolute win over here. It really is. It's proper saved us. It's about 10 minutes walk from where we need to be tomorrow, which is Monday, to go and collect the part. And we are going to be staying for our second night tonight. It is an open air car park. It is, excuse the monk parakeets in the background. They're beautiful, but they're quite chatty. And if any of you are wondering how Lucky has been coping with all of this, well, in true Lucky Dog style, he has been taking it like a champ. When we were getting the tows, he had to stay in the front of the van. There just wasn't enough room for him. It's not the first time he's done it, and he's done it twice in the last couple of days, but he is such a good boy. He takes it all in his stride, and as you can see, he's now absolutely loving life, and he's just chilling on the ground.
So the day has finally arrived. The part is here. So it's about time to get on with this job now, I think, and get this van rolling. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to prime this, and then I can start using this for dirty oil, because this is the only container we've got. It's now primed, it's now got fluid in. It reduces the amount of air that'll be left in the system when it comes to bleed it. So what there is a tiny little clip that you've got to remove off this pin, and then you've got to take the pin out the pedal, which will release the master cylinder. Look, it's the fucking work at that. That's not doing anything there.
Yeah, it's all the way. Yeah. down. Good morning, guys. So there's someone that I would just like to introduce you to, and that person is first and foremost my husband, and second of all, my hero.
Well, that's it. We are officially back on the road again, and yes, Willie Nelson did a great song for that, which we have just listened to. Clutch pedals fixed, pressure's back in the system. We've done a full system bleed, so there's no shitty oil left in it anymore, and that's it. Morocco bound.
So that is it. We are now Morocco bound. I'm not quite sure where our next stop is after this. We haven't quite sorted it because we've had this stress going on, but that's it. We're officially back on the road and we'll be in Morocco within 2 weeks. So to be honest, guys, we had every intention of sort of filming a bit this morning, filming where we were getting the part from, etc. But to be perfectly honest, my anxiety was sky high. My brain was saying they're not going to have the part and this, it was just going mental, and I just didn't feel comfortable. And we just didn't end up doing it. But we will drop a link or drop a photo of the place that we used. It was called Auto Recambios in Almeria. One of the guys there spoke a little bit of English, but again, we used Google Translate. It's like we're doing a paid advert for Google Translate. We're not, but if you want to, Google, you know where we are. So we're just in the middle of packing up and getting ready to hit the road. We're going to give the clutch a good test, but it's so exciting. It doesn't feel like 5 minutes since we were saying this and doing this in Javier and leaving there, having changed the wheel bearing. But we're back on the road and we couldn't be more excited.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, smash that like button,
And don't forget to drop us a comment down below because you know that we love hearing from all of you.
and just remember, stay curious, guys.